Welcome to Changing the Narrative. I'm Kathy Lopes.
Henry Turner.
This is our project to help leaders learn how to create a culture with an anti-racist mindset.
In each episode, we will answer one question to help leaders make an impact in their classroom, school, organization, or really anywhere they lead.
So for this episode, our question is, how do you stay committed to the work when you're faced with resistance?
So I think in our world in education, this is really relevant because there is an organized movement right now pushing against this work, right? And so one is that you've got to stay committed in your own personal work, right? Like you have to commit to sort of reflecting on your own process and racial identity development, where you stand, sort of taking a perspective of sort of what is the kind of work that you are working on, right? Maybe make a list of that work. Write a list of your privileges, right? Sort of like it's about sort of really coming back to where you stand in terms of your personal place in this work. And the second is, what are the issues that you're working on within your organization, right? And how do you like what other people are helping you and who you're collaborating with. And I think that it's when you start to feel exhausted in this work, it's making sure and being open with the people who you are working with to say that, like, I need to step back. I'm exhausted from this work and I need your support in this. And then it's also about how do you engage with people who are different, who have different perspectives from you, right? Like if you are feeling like an onslaught of attacks, or you're feeling like people are criticizing, are those the people that you're ready to engage with? Or is the people who are questioning, who are feeling, who have more questions than they are like just shutting down your perspective? And I think it's about identifying the people who you want to engage with, who disagree with you, or have questions, and what is your bandwidth in terms of that kind of engagement. It's the people who are in all onslaught attack on the work you're doing. Then it's about asking questions of why they are so hateful and so critical of this work, right? And but they may not necessarily be the people you want to start with.
Yeah, I agree. The two things I heard you say that I agree with really around the commitment. And you talked about your commitment to yourself to do this work, and also really getting grounded on what is the purpose of this work and reframing that narrative that of resistance, that this might be harming a particular group, and reframing it to say, well, we're actually excluding that a particular group that is experiencing harm. And how do we work with all students and all faculty and create a place where all feel like they belong and all feel like they're safe? So really shifting that idea that this is harmful, and then thinking about how do we make this environment safe for everyone? Because right now we're getting information that says that that is not the case for all students. I also think resistance often sometimes comes from misinformation, and finding opportunities to educate your community, to really provide opportunities for questions to be asked and for you to clarify what is the purpose, why are we doing this work, what does our commitment look like, and really giving out more information to get people to understand more. So they might be resisting to the idea without having actual knowledge of what this work is, what does it look like, and how can they get on board. So you might be able to bring on a few more when you open up the conversation.
I totally agree. I think that we take the perspective that if there wasn't resistance, then racism wouldn't exist, right? Like that's why racism has been around for so long, is that resistance is a normal part of pushing against this system. And so, you may find as an organizational leader that whether it's the people who work with you, maybe your own supervisor who are pushing back on this, and it may just be about kind of slowing down, right, and finding another pathway. But it's really about reading what the resistance is, right? It's about getting an understanding, collecting the data, and figuring out how do you continue in that work. If you're feeling unsafe, you're feeling like you're getting way too much backlash, that your job's at risk, right? It's okay to put a pause, to kind of do your own work, and then reset and see what are some other things that you can do down the road. If the resistance is just people feeling like this is not the right time, or this is not the right initiative, then it's about sort of hearing them and having that that conversation and you not power hoarding the
Right,
work, right? And it's about
right,
collaborating with people. So
right.
it's really about naming what that resistance is.
Right. And also not just responding to the loudest voices, making sure you're asking those in the community who want this work to happen and getting reminded of why it's needed and who is on board and who believes that the work is actually shifting and using that to keep your energy to move forward and not just responding to those who are loud when they're resisting.
Agreed.
All right.
So
Well, thank you.
thank you.